Hello. It's live slightly early because cat. I thought people might enjoy cat. Because I don't know if he will sit still for the entirety of tonight's performance. So, here she is. Can you hear me? That's a good question I should ask, now that I know you can see me. That is not a promising response. Oh, good, okay. The delay just is what it is. Oh, and there goes the cat. So now I can actually arrange myself properly. Yeah, so I may or may not get attacked at random points during the stream, but it's fine. Right, let's see where we are. The cat's name is Evie. We will allow people a couple of minutes to arrive. I'm going to return my camera to its previously curtailed state. I went out of my way to enlarge it after having nailed the setup to accommodate the cat, but needs must. Hopefully that'll do. I haven't tested it back. Yes, thank you for clarifying that in Discord, Rammer. Okay. I have no idea who's going to be in, but I'll just waffle on for a little bit longer. Yeah, 3 years ago, well, it was a working day, so obviously I did it during the working day, because why wouldn't I? And yeah, I haven't checked if there's any idiot who voted in the last few hours. But if there were, then you got screwed, soz. I'm basically waiting until I get like any signs of life in the chat that aren't the keynotes. Well, indeed, but aha, that's a sign of life, which can only mean one thing. It's time to get on with this shit. Tab gags for the catch-up crew. Well, here we are. It's the Globbies. We're back. I say we. I wasn't here before. But after a season off, under new management, it's the annual Globby Awards. Annual? Bi-monthly, who knows. Season 12 in the deep dark past of season 12. I remember it like it was yesterday because it almost was. But yes, welcome back to the Globby Awards as voted by some of you. We had enough voters to make it worthwhile. So thank you all for joining me as we recap the best and the worst, and mostly the worst of season 12. Here are a selection of graphics representing some of the teams that are still in the league, some that have left. At this point, I can't really call it anything else. It's just a series of images that have a tangential relation to the Golf Shirt Draft League, but they're very nice images, so enjoy them. And they came animated. I didn't do that. That's just been here for ages, so have fun with that. But of course, the winners, as you can tell from this image, are Qmang, the ball pythons. It's finally happened. They finally finished in a position that was higher than 4th. So well done to the pythons for wrapping it up by week 2, as I believe was the case, and holding off. I wouldn't necessarily say fierce competition, but competition for a first glory. So well done. Here, of course, is the official league table for season 12. Well done to the BBC for finishing 4th, and commiserations to the show assistant for missing the cut. That's got a sting. But yeah, it was a 3-point advantage for the Pythons, and 20 goal difference from first to second, I think, tells a lot of the story. When they worked, they really worked. It's an impressive showing from the Pythons. You've got to say, the Dogs, I reckon it could have been done better, but they do finish a little bit off at the bottom of the table, so better luck next time. But let's get into our first award of the season. It is obviously for Team of the Season, and there could only be one winner really, and that's because we did a whole simulated season to decide who the Team of the Season would be, and it turns out the way to win this is to win that. So yeah, well done. Still, that said, only 70% of voters actually picked the Pythons. It's a shout out for the Cup winners, the BBC. Farcelona got a vote, I guess, for making the split, and also Adam voted in this poll, so that's what's happening there. Now, the one that doesn't always go directly to the winning team is Director of Football of the season, of course. It usually only goes mostly to the winning DOF, and that's what happened here. Whammer sneaks home with the 40% to take the double of team and DOF of the season for, I guess, winning. Johannes, a close runner-up for actually having drafted probably the best of all of us, but getting mildly screwed on RNG. I hear that happens to the best of us, but specifically in this case, you. A shout for Sam for, I don't know, building a functional showless system team, and Adam voted twice in this poll, I guess, but fair play to him as well for placing. We move on now to whichever award is next, because I don't remember what that one is. I see. We're potential claims for a Barcelona vote from a mystery chat member. Incredible scenes. Right, we'll go on to Manager of the Season. This is a more hotly contested title a lot of the time, and I think quite rightly it's gone to Julian Nagelsmann of Los Hijos de Chad for moulding that turd into a second placed turd. So yeah, a strong showing for Los Hijos against all odds really, and Nagelsmann's work really must be credited there. So good shout from the 5 voters who agreed that Nagelsmann was the man. 2 points for Pep Guardiola, 2 votes even for winning the league. I hear that's a decent achievement. What a shout for Ernesto Valverde for managing to go through the entire system, the entire season with half Man United without ever establishing whether or not his team were even good at all. Made the split, did quite well. Fair play. Got a vote. Fernando Santos, who sadly passed away this season as a result of disastrous mishandling of the Pocket Dogs. The failure to spot the revolutionary 2-2-3-1 asymmetric formation. I think I missed out a number there somewhere. Probably cost him his life and his job in that order. But I guess his death was spectacular enough to warrant a vote in this field. Steve Bruce also appearing in this poll. That happened. So well done, Steve. Quite the achievement, I would say, given your efforts this season. It's lovely to see everyone swapping votes to each other and this in the DOF poll. That's very sweet. But let's go now to the player of the season. This was a hotly contested one. It was a tie at the top. Lil Lorenzo Insigne, who arguably was the creative force that drove the Pythons to the title, matched up 3 for 3 against Bruno Fernandes, widely acknowledged to be one of the better players in recent Gobshite history, who was a major part of Tiki Taka Toa existing this season. Miles better than the rest of his team, and got a big share of the votes for it. The shouts individually for Ciro Immobile for scoring a lot of goals, Harry Kane for scoring even more goals than that, I can't remember, Donnarumma for getting better as the season went on. One person said, I don't know, but all I know is it's not Jeffrey Ware. So, neither Insigne or Fernandes are Jeffrey Ware. So I'm going to have to break the tie the only way I know how, by picking Lorenzo Insigne. So well done, Lil Lorenzo. You are the official Gobshite undisputed player of the season, I think it's fair to say. And your reward was to be instantly binned and to be drafted in round 10 or something this time around. Unlucky, bruv. Right, let's go into the individual player positional awards, because I'm pretty sure that's what comes next, and it will start with goalkeepers. Nailed it, there we go. So this is quite a close one between Donnarumma of Barcelona, who I think started a little bit iffy but really came into his own towards the back end of the season, and Mats, who was a goalkeeper who didn't have any high profile errors this season, which came out to the right back slot. This was ended up being a bit of a stomping. There were a couple of main names out there. Reece James maybe done poorly, I guess, having a very solid season at right back for the Pythons. Alexis Salamakers, I think we can all agree, bottled it completely after an exceptional first half of the season with Los Hijos. He would have been a shoe-in for this point at the moment of the split. But then I think in a topic that will be explored in greater depth later on in these awards, Los Hijos did somewhat fall apart entirely, and I think so did Alexis's chances of taking home this award. So it's Rick Karsdorp of Exist-Only and Gobshite fame who took home half the vote for basically just not fucking it up this time. So fair play, Rick. One vote for Ricardo Pereira, nobody for Kyle Walker, which fair enough, because yikes. We go now then to the centre-back awards. Obviously, people picking two out of these, so potential for confusion. But it's a fairly straightforward choice for Aymeric Laporte as the overall winner of this particular poll, slotting in with 6 votes next to Alessandro Bastoni of Tiki Taka Toa, who I guess was fine. I didn't really notice him. That's probably a good thing for a defender in the Gobshite League. But he narrowly beat out his colleague Eder Militao. And I've just realised I was meant to move my face back over there earlier. I'm blocking Mary Demiral's name, but that's fine. So where was I? Demiral had a solid showing. Obviously got worse. He was a Hikos player. Koulibaly and Namondi got a vote each, but people mostly focused on a couple of key names. It's Laporte and Bastoni who comfortably take home the prize here. Next up it's left backs. I think this poll is pretty solid evidence that no left backs really did anything this season. Ice had a couple of good games, as I recall. Smashed home a snipe shot at some point. Nuno Mendes maybe will feel aggrieved for not winning this outright, after being an important part of the title winning team. But no shot for Teo Hernandez or Jose Gaya, and 1 point, a sole point for Alphonso Davies. I think we know where that came from. But it's Ice who takes home the nomination for Team of the Week. Slaphead for centre back of the season. Yeah, I think we got pretty solid nominees out of that. And Slaphead's had better years, so I don't think he's missing out on his crowning achievement. But that's our defence sorted. I think next up is going to be central midfielders, if I remember correctly, and it is. Well, this was very much a story of Bruno and friends. Basically everyone agreed that by some distance Bruno Fernandes is the best central midfielder in Globby at the moment. Whopping 7 votes here. Quite suspicious of the 3 people who didn't pick him. But there was quite a good amount of competition for the other slots. Kevin De Bruyne had one of his better seasons, I would say. Almost beginning to justify the first pick, but crucially not doing that. I think he does sneak in alongside Fernandes here. But all the other choices, apart from Toni Kroos, had a look in here. Rodrigo de Paul, one of those people who would have been in real contention for player of the season overall, had we say ended the season at the point of the split, but kind of disappeared from a contention as we entered the final stretch of the season. But man, he had a serious stretch of incredible performances that were a big part of the Manx title challenge this season. Frank Intense the Viking, 2 votes, maybe underserved a little bit. Big part of the Pythons' title victory. Luis Alberto, I want to say it's a bit of a legacy vote. Had a fine season, as he often does, but I think it would have been stealing a Globby for him to have made it into the team of the season, probably. Naby Keita getting a point for some eye-catching sort of late-season performances. A couple of incredible goals from Naby Keita. 2 votes for Weasels players, despite everything that happened to the Weasels this season. I can assure you those weren't from me. Marco Reus, also on this poll. But it's Bruno and KDB, who I think are perfectly reasonable choices here for central midfielders of the season. Let's go on now to one of the wingers. I want to say left. It's the left. So this one, slightly different story. Lil Lorenzo Insigne, player of the season. So we had 8 respondents here voting for Lorenzo Insigne, and 2 people who were wrong. Jack Grealish scored 4 goals? I don't know. He was fine. Eden Hazard, 2 good weeks for Sirs? Not buying it. Hackers and Marcus Rashford also appearing in this poll. But a comfortable victory for Lil Lorenzo, one of the most dominant we've had in this kind of format. Hello, more people coming in. The Pythons midfield deserve a spot, but none of the individuals did. I think that's a very reasonable interpretation. Kroos and De Jong and the other one, Valverde, was it? All fine. All very fine, but maybe no one dominated over the other ones. But yes, you're quite right. Lorenzo, it's about time we had somebody from the title winning team in our team of the season, and there can be no doubt that the man deserves it. A little bit harder to choose for right winger. Am I back? Testing. I noticed my own internet took a drop there, so please let me know if you can hear me. and or see me. If needs be, I will attempt fixes, but I think my connection is back now. Okay. I'm on my phone now. It should be more coherent. It wouldn't be a... Wow, this is the worst thing in the universe. So that's good. Does not seem like... Oh. Testing, testing. Looks back on my screen. Yes, ironically, caught in the middle of saying it wouldn't be a Globbies without technical issues. Am I back? Okay, right. I'm on my phone. Hopefully it's going to hold. We'll power through the rest of this ceremony. So, right wing. Anyway, the point I was making, Di Maria and Take Me to Keys tied for right wing of the season. I broke the tie in favour of Di Maria because Chiesa might have been more value for Barcelona if he hadn't been constantly going to jail. One of the only players to get more than one red card in the season. An incredible achievement, but arguably more incredible achievement in banter than in straight up being a good player. So Di Maria, cup winner, very solid season. He's going to take the slot in the team here. Yeah, and if you want to complain about it, Stefan, take me to court. Strikers then. Well, the headline here, very easy. Big, incredible season. Whether or not he's an actual false nine, he apparently is just the best one. 6 votes, comfortably getting big into the team of the season. Harder competition for the second striker slot. People were torn between Ronnie, Hero, and Big Rom. I break the tie for Ronaldo, A, because he was generally amazing, and B, because he's probably not going to get back in it again, because old man old. And that CA drop for season 13, that's going to bite hard. So these two young bucks, Kira and Big Rom, their day has come before and may come again, but Ronnie probably over the hill. Two votes for Harry Kane, probably a bit unfortunate on the lad. He would definitely deserve the shout. There's a lot of good strikers this year, to be fair, but it was a banner year for Harry Kane, so glad he's represented in the voting a little bit. Votes for Haaland and Salah for just generally being quite good. A vote for top 10 for being a Chilean menace player. And Mbappe and Isaac also were shortlisted for this poll. But the clear winner is Big. And that gives us a full team of the season. Split between a handful of dominating teams. We've got 2 from the BBC, 2 from Tiki Taka Toa, 2 from Qmang, and 2 from the Shola system. Then De Bruyne from Halfman, Ronaldo from the Pigs, and Donnarumma from Barcelona. Nice varied team with a bit of representation for the key players in the title win. That's your team of the season, and that's the boring stuff out of the way. So now we can go for the sillier awards. Well, hang on, is it manager next? No, manager next. Oh no, it's goalkeepers. We did a manager earlier. Banter goalkeeper. Well, this was a tough one to decide. It was, as widely observed, a poor year for goalkeepers, and that's saying something in the context of the Gobshite draft league. So Onana got 2 points, but just all goalkeepers also got 2 votes. Not a good look for anyone wearing gloves. Even the safe hands of Samir Handanovic split up at some point this year. I would strongly advise against taking my word for how to pronounce Qmang, because I am flailing a little bit here, but I That's the best I can do. 1 point for Lucas Zidane, who had a bit of fun while he was finally on the pitch. That was exciting. Cavas gave us some of the best and the worst of Cavas this season. Obviously not his historical worst, because I think few goalkeepers have plumbed quite that deeper set of depths. But some good moments from Cavas this season. And Joe Gomes getting a surprise nomination in the goalkeeper category. But I'm imagining we've seen the end of that. That's probably a clerical error of some kind. So I've got to break the tie for somebody, and I'm going to break it in favour of Onana because he is one of all of them. So yeah, Andre Onana, come up and collect your award. Actually, maybe get somebody else to carry it for you. In the meantime, we will move on to the most banter defender. Chiyumong. Yeah. It'll do. Alright, most banter defender. This was a pretty straightforward victory for Nilwall's converted libero, João Felix, who is one of the season's best. Reese paused the stream and just gape at this for a moment. Opportunities. As Jose Peckerman decided to reorganise his defence into a back three with Felix either side of the two other centre backs. A beautiful moment. I'm excited to see the rest of his development in this exciting new position. We got one vote for Alexandro, primarily just for having been kept by Mart, as opposed to several of the other good players that he decided not to keep, and then in some cases drafted again anyway afterwards. 1 vote, arguably not enough of a vote for Gabriel Paulista. One of my favourite gimmicks of this season was Nicky's definitely deliberate drafting of Gabriel Paulista, backfiring spectacularly. A real standout season for Gabriel. 1 vote, maybe a little harsh on the man. John Stones got a vote for being bad. I should remind you that Adam voted in this poll. 1 point for Joe Gomes for most banter defender, which makes sense because he's a defender. And 1 point for the entire concept of Surreal Flanders having a right back. The Gabriel Paulista is just one of the best ongoing gags we've had for a while. But obviously, he's a natural defender, so the Joao Felix votes I do get. It was beautiful. Most banter central midfielder. This was a Nilwall dominated category, but I think we can all agree that the Messi Eriksen double pivot was a thing of beauty. The combative, industrious pair really anchoring Nilwall's engine room this season. So the 3.5 there. It's 3 votes for Messi and 1 vote for Messi and Eriksen. But Messi was clearly the favoured of the two and takes home the award tonight. If he can break off an arm of it and give it to Eriksen, I think that's probably fair. Joao Felix gets a vote for, just sort of having the positional versatility. He must be able to play in centre midfield now. Joe Gomes continues a strong performance in these Globby Awards with a vote again here. And 1 vote for Frank Zappa. He can dribble, he can tackle, he can't do very much else, but he can also get points, get votes in this this ceremony. I keep saying points. I've done too many song contests. They're votes, I assure you. Most banterous attacking midfielder up next. This was a little harder to decide. Maybe I think we were slightly short on truly excellent banter attacking mids this season, but Captain Mark Albrighton of Manchester United, his star burned brightly at the start of the season and then basically stopped burning, but it was beautiful while it lasted, and I think we can be massively underutilised by Manchester. The absolute star of the show for the first couple of weeks, and then they dropped him, and that was that. But he does go home with an award to make up for that disappointment. We had shouts out for Bruno Fernandes. Seems like the opposite of a banter award to me, but he was good. Pedro Gonçalves, I guess, also just got nominated just for being a bit of a surprise good player. Probably his best gobshite season so far. Yeah, it's an award for Maychester. Congratulations. It doesn't get much better than most banter left wing, right wing, or cam. 1 vote for Joe Gomes. Very exciting night for Joe Gomes. I think one of these moments he might even get a whole category under his belt. Joao Felix in his preferred position of cam. I think he might be a striker. I don't know. It doesn't matter anymore. He's positional fluid, but continues his run through these banter categories. And 1 point for Crawford. I don't know why, but well done for Crawford. We're giving Pedro a shout out just for this. This will do. Yeah, fair enough. It was a good season for Big Pedro. Try Big Pedro. I don't think it works. It'll just be Pedro. Okay, Banter Striker. This was a little more weighted. We had votes for Big Maxi and Harry Kane, and of course Joe Gomes. But this is really the story of 2 strikers. Karim Benzema had an astonishingly good start to the season, and then remembered that he's Karim Benzema, and we basically disappeared for 20 game weeks before popping up again at the end to just remind everyone that he'd been here the whole time. So a worthy 2 votes for Karim Benzema. His legacy continues, despite people with higher CA dropping like flies around him. But the winner for Banter Striker, well, I mean, I don't know how popular Pirates of the Caribbean is in Brazil, but I reckon Captain Gabriel Barbosa is probably even more popular at this stage. His achievements in a positionally challenged Surreal Flanders team were a sight to behold. A true standard bearer for a gimmick team that perhaps didn't become as beautiful or ridiculous as it could have been. I think we discovered that, generally speaking, the left-footed gimmick was passable. Not as passable as some of the predictions thought, but passable. But shout out to Captain Barbosa for being one of the most enjoyable parts of a very enjoyable Surreal Flanders team. And he takes home the Banter Striker Award. Next up, it's Banter Manager. The jury was divided on this one, but it's Kenwyne Jones who takes the prize for finally breaking his gobshite duck as a manager. Sacked off the playing career this time to focus full-time on management, and it paid off in style. Not 1 win Jones, not 2 win Jones, but however many wins it was he got before the end of the season, I've already forgotten. But bravo to Kenwyne. Another manager rehabilitated by the Ducks. But some good votes all around. 1 vote for Joe Gomes. Fair play, well done. 1 vote for Jose Peckerman for coming in mid-season after the death of Gianpiero Gasperini, RSVP. And look, he didn't have a lot of time to mess around, Peckerman, but he really did some great Peckerman things. And we can't obviously forget the Joao Felix central defence move. But yeah, a return to form for Peckerman after some unbanterous recent attempts. A vote for George Burley, I guess, for just fucking it up real bad with the Weasels. Nobody expected them to be good, but nobody expected them to be this bad either. And as we know, in a parallel universe near you, this Weasels team could have been real nice, but George Burley fucked it up real good, and that's the end of that. Gets a vote in the banter category. Fernando Santos, also sort of similar thing, I guess, for just being, oh boy, what a mess. The Dogs bottled 17th very hard, and Santos paid for it with his life. See you in the next cycle, my friend. But it's Kenwyne. Luciano Spalletti also got a vote, although that was caveated with, I don't know, I'll pick Spalletti. So maybe not the most resounding endorsement. But this one's for Kenwyne, this award. Banter Team, though, this was a fun one. I mean, Nilwall are the traditional recipients of the Banter Team Award, and you have to say they did earn it this season. Really perfecting the Nilwall art of drafting one team and playing another one. The positional sensibilities of the various midfielders is a beautiful lesson in how not to trust the BBA tool on the website. Although that said, they didn't finish last. The Messi Eriksson pivot did wonders. They experimented with bold new positions at centre back. Just generally a delightful team. One of the most reliably entertaining parts of the Goalkeeper League. 2 points for the Pocket Dogs for, oh boy, whatever that season was. The BBA gimmick is abandoned, and with it apparently any chance of success. Hopefully better things to come. I love Mark too. Like, holy cow. Just delightful presence in this league. Nilwall, the league wouldn't be what it was without Nilwall. 1 point for one vote for Los Hijos for Adam remembering to vote in this poll. 1 point for Halfman, perhaps I might say undervalued in this category. The Are Halfman Good gimmick was really satisfying. Sort of the sort of Schrodinger's team aspect was really enjoyable. So shout out to Halfman. And Surreal Flanders, every player 20 left foot. Landed somewhere in the middle of great and shit, but we as always applaud Surreal for their efforts and breaking new ground in gimmickry. So bravo to that vote as well. But it's Nilwall who are the rightful winners of most Banter Team. Gimmick of the season, of course. These things all coming together a little bit, but the left footedness and the what was I just said, the half-man being good, missed out entirely here, which seems unfortunate. A point for Snow. It was exciting. We had to change the colour of the ball halfway through the season when it showed up poorly in the snow. In our exciting jaunt into Estonia. 1 vote for Los Hijos, just being really, really, really dog shit in the second, in the post-split universe. 1 point for Joe Gomes. So, that's a thing that happened. A vote for Nilwall central midfield. It was a beautiful sight all season. We got to enjoy Messi as a battling CM label. I think he was even box to box at one point. Beautiful stuff. But it's tie up the top. I don't know how popular Pirates of the Caribbean is in Brazil, but it's just a beautiful way to start a sentence, and I'm going to be using it probably for the rest of my life. So that's very exciting. But it was neck and neck with goalkeepers not having any hands. It truly was a banner year for shit goalkeeping, and I can't be able to split them, and I won't. So there you are. It's a shared globby for these two excellent gimmicks. Do we have more awards? I can't remember. There's more. Oh yes, surprise of the season. An obvious nomination for Joao Felix at centre back, and a quite rightful point out as well for Koeman being finally breaking the curse and getting out of the doldrums of fourth and below to actually finish in the top three. Well done to Koeman. That was one hell of a surprise. Joe Gomes just continues to do something new every season. It would have been the surprise of the season not to see him in contention of this award. Mark Albrighton really did there's I think few players who have been so anonymous in the draft and then had one or two incredible weeks. We see him one game here or there, but for consecutive superb performances out of nowhere doesn't happen very often. Mark Albrighton was a real highlight for Manchester, but it's a landslide. Los Hijos actually being a functional team for a change really bowled a lot of people over. We've got so used to Adam drafting the same team every season and finishing 8th, but no, there was a very real possibility this season that Los Hijos would have won the title, and luckily none of us had to live with ourselves for that actually having come to pass. But that was a real shocker, and they're rightly taking over the Globby for surprise of the season. Disappointment of the season, though. There were some candidates here. You'll notice that the total number of votes here does exceed 10. That's because a couple of people offered some X and Y answers to these various disappointments, because there was a lot to choose from. We did have one vote for Joe Gomes. I think we can all agree needs to pull up his socks. One vote for the Chilean menace, getting a lot of injuries. Seems like something of a niche interest, but who's to say? I don't know where that could have come from. One vote for Los Hijos, from a mystery member of the audience. But, well, we know all about the various failures of teams who are strongly favoured to do well based on test seasons. The Pigs arguably had the best draft of anyone this season, and fucked it. But they didn't fuck it quite as bad as either of the two candidates here. Maychester should have been one of the top four, you'd have thought, but had to set off a bully in the bottom half of the split instead. And boy, oh boy, where do we start with Weasels? Oh, what a mess. In genuine danger of finishing last for much of the season. The defence was a mess. The central midfield was a mess. Lucky could barely string 2 goals together. The less about Crawford's average rating, the better. If they hadn't had Kiro, I dread to think. The Weasels are plumbing new depths here for disappointment of the season. Rivalry the season. The short answer here is that nobody had any good answers for this category. But you'll notice a couple of key themes popping up throughout here. The Pocket Dogs versus a variety of people and things. 1 point for the historical Dogs versus Surreal rivalry. This season took a slight turn in favour of Surreal over the Dogs, who just kept beating them at every opportunity, which is pretty delightful. A vote for Dogs versus Nilwall. That race for 17th was really quite something. The Dogs versus winning in general also got a vote. Not the best season for the Dogs and just getting along with stuff. Los Hijos versus winning also came up. I think that is the first time we've had actually no nominations at all for the Pocket Dogs for disappointment. Obviously they've not won it every season, but I think they all do always get a legacy vote. So arguably that's a disappointment of the season, I might say, especially given their results. I think Dogs vs Surreal might have been the correct answer here. But Kenwyn Jones attempting to break his duck was arguably shoehorned into this category, but does take home equal first. Andre Onana versus the general concept of saves, and the sort of internal strife of the inner world of Joe Gomes was certainly captivated one of our voters. I think you could really sort of tell the inner struggle between Joe Gomes' hopes and dreams and the reality of everyday life playing at Barcelona. It's been an interesting time to be a witness to Joe Gomes. Have we got anything left? Who knows? No, we don't. This is the final notes from various people. Big love to the admin team. Big love back, I guess. Well done to Johannes for stepping up and helping out with admin stuff as we head into this season as well. Thanks continuously to Make for doing website stuff, and for Reese for making this all possible in the first place by doing the stream. It's still it's worth saying that this is one of the best things that is happening at the moment, and it remains a lot of fun thanks to everyone who puts in the time and energy to make it what it is. So thanks to everyone for taking part. Shout out to the withering brain of an anonymous but verbose person. Are Halfman good? I still don't know. I truly still don't know, and I now never will. Ethos, good point, well made. The title race is over. That's quite right. It was up for debate for quite a long time, but I think we can now agree that the title race is now complete until about 2 days from now at this rate. I think it's only fair to end proceedings with a note that Joe Gomes. So that concludes your Globby ceremony. Oh, pardon me. Thanks to everyone who voted. Thanks to everyone for tuning in and dealing with the technical issues. You love to see it. Yeah, almost done with the season 13 draft. So yeah, let's keep our drafting momentum going. That's been good to see the last couple of days. And yeah, hopefully we'll be back in action very soon for a gimmick-heavy season as we head into the reset. Once again, we'll finally settle the 1938 World Cup cycle, is it? And yeah, that'll do it from me. And I will see you back in the